Welcome to episode 2 of Exploring the Metaverse. In this episode, we're going to talk about what can you do in the metaverse? Things that are near and dear to our hearts in our regular daily lives, not just digitally, but in the quote unquote real world. And things such as making new friends, playing games, and can you imagine even getting a job? Getting a job, where would you work? You would work in the verse, in the metaverse, somewhere in the virtual world. I think this is the type of thing that the average individual has maybe just starting to understand, just starting to see the light of the possibilities that are upon us and the ability to get in nearly on the ground floor of this incredible, incredible movement. Now, I came across this article on the XR Today website by Anwisha Roy, and this is an incredibly straightforward and I would say even simple breakdown of a bunch of different things. I think there's actually a dozen things here, and I'm going to just kind of quickly go through them and really kind of just open. I think the conversation about each of these different possibilities that I think, some of them you might have heard of, but there's a couple things here that doesn't immediately come to my mind when I think about virtual reality and I think about the type of experiences that I'm already aware of, right? So the first thing is to purchase and monetize real estate. Now, I think that is just such a shocking thing to think that zeros and ones, a bunch of computer programming could actually be an investment opportunity. It could be a tangible or nearly tangible representation of property, of space, of the type of investment that you would expect to see in a traditional market, in the neighborhood around you, in the business center, or any other means of land to buy and to sell. And here it says that real estate sales are among the top use cases for the metaverse, with individuals and organizations eager to become early movers in this space. And that really resonates with me in the fact that this is an opportunity. This is a ground floor event that, if you're willing to take a risk, or perhaps you're in the position to take a risk, you might just be able to to get invested in something now that could exponentially gain and grow in the future. Now, this is not investment advice. I'm not telling you how or why you should or should not spend your money. I completely recommend that you consult with a professional real estate agent and or other financial advisors who can aid you and guide you in the correct means for your investment choices. But as a conversation on the subject, I think that this is a great thing for many, many humans and many, many people that can just enjoy another avenue, another aspect of asset generation and that sort of speculative opportunity that comes with something new, where there is certainly risk. This is not proven, this is not a guaranteed thing, but when is investing ever a sure bet? I mean, you could say that gold and much of the real estate in urban centers is very, very, very possibly guaranteed to be a return, but there is always those moving market events such as war, such as political problems and social change that can impact those investments, and having yet another avenue of investment, another opportunity that could be a massive gain. I'm just really, really excited about. And I know that we should work within our means and always do what's going to be best for you and your personal finances. But boy, I think the idea of owning land next to someone famous or in a particular region of the metaverse would be something that you could pass down to the next generation, to your kids and to your kids' kids. And boy, they're going to be awful proud of grandpa for getting in on the ground floor. Now, the second use case for the metaverse, as far as what you can do, is to create scenes of games or other virtual reality experiences. And I understand this is a bit of a niche use case situation. Not too many of my immediate family, for example, would be keen to just jump right in and start trying to program a three-dimensional virtual world. But, Meta, or Facebook's parent company, is doing just that. They've created something called Horizon Worlds, and Horizon Worlds is really a tool that allows people to develop content that they can share in the metaverse with other people, and they break it down in such a way that it will certainly still have a learning curve and certainly be the type of thing that you would have to put some effort into, but I really can see something as simple as I can see people who are typically used to creating in the analog world, someone such as a potter who likes to throw clay on their wheel and create a beautiful and stunning piece of pottery, could be analogous to the type of individual who goes into the meta playground and into meta horizon worlds, for example, and designs a new game. Or, I think for myself, I have a YouTube channel that's a gaming related, and I could see myself making like a mini golf course or having some other branded game that's customized and related directly to the content that I'm already creating on other platforms, and giving people a place to come together and giving them something to do together that is reminiscent or reminds them of the other communities that they love. Someone such as a top tier streamer, someone like Dr. Disrespect, or he talks about in his streams how he's got the arena and he's got his followers, and what if he was able to design that actual 500 million seat arena or whatever it is, and have those people come together in a virtual world that has been created by him and his team, and or even just hiring someone to do these things. It allows creators to create new experiences for their audiences and new gathering places for people to come and to share and to create together, and really to give the value to the community in yet another way to build that community and to give it that feeling of closeness, and perhaps to interact with a more realistic way with your audience. Because I know there's a lot of creators out there, look at somebody popular, somebody near the top of their game, Mr. Joe Rogan, for example, or what about PewDiePie on YouTube? These are individuals who I'm sure would love the opportunity to chat with their audience and to have those one-on-one experiences, but due to the logistical and perhaps inherent safety risks to the one-on-one meetups, if you could create a meeting space or just join an existing one online, and you could have your avatars meet in this three-dimensional world that you've created, or to provide a game for them, you get that bond without the need for that one-to-one. And I just think it opens up a completely another avenue for content creators to connect with their audiences and to provide value in a way that we might not even have imagined yet. And I know those projects are well underway, and I'm excited to hopefully talk to some of the creators of those things and to gain more insight into what is up, what is coming, and what we should really be excited for. Now, simple thing that you can do in the metaverse that you certainly can do a little bit in the quote unquote real world is to create a new image of oneself, and the avatars, the virtual representation of ourselves that we have in the metaverse are basically customizable. You don't have to look the way that you look. Now, many people, they love the way they look, and perhaps, ego fulfillingly so. Um, and some folks, we just don't. And it's very common, I would estimate, in my professional estimation. I mean, I am a nurse, I'm a licensed practical nurse, and I do work with, I've worked with thousands of different people in my career, and I understand that there's a desire out there for many people. Look at the rise of cosmetic surgery, the number of products in the market, the creams and ointments and potions and things that people use to try to change themselves or to bring forward the best version of themselves, and to be able to do that with such freedom in a virtual space that you don't have to maintain a defined gender. You don't need to stick with the same body type. I could even have some hair if I wanted to, and these are the type of things that to me is really exciting. And it's something that's happened in the gaming world for a long time. I played World of Warcraft, I've created many different characters in a multitude of games, and there's a great sense of pride. There's a sense of connection that comes between the user and the character in those scenarios. But what level of connection would you truly imagine if that connection wasn't with another character, but the avatar represented ourselves? And to me, the power of that level of expression, that self expression, is the type of thing that is going to truly be alluring. I think it's very appealing for a broad segment of society, and this is the type of exciting thing that you can do in the metaverse that I'm just absolutely excited for. Now, Anwisha, the author of the article, goes on to speak about something perhaps on a more professional level that is you can meet and collaborate with remote colleagues. And I think now, today, more than ever, after our world has gone through lockdowns and isolations and events that have limited our ability to develop and well, not to develop, but to maintain these one-to-one office settings or, technical environments, it is more important than ever to find ways that we can collaborate with other people without having to be in the same room. Something that's described here in this article would be an infinite whiteboard canvas. Now, when you say infinite whiteboard canvas, it opens up a broad array of ideas in my mind. I know that someone such as a teacher, someone such as a manager, or an inspirational individual in a meeting, a project meeting, who's trying to do the napkin math, so to speak, or to do the napkin meeting and to sketch out this idea, and they've got this plan. And if we could just meet together from anywhere in the world at any time and come together and to experience that other individual's expression in the most realistic way possible, I think it is an incredible possibility that many people in the future could truly be working in VR. Why couldn't you then just go to the digital office in the digital world and apply for the digital job and work and play and completely collaborate with other individuals, especially on a professional level, all while from the comfort of your own home, or perhaps a more isolated office experience that gives you that level of safety and potential isolation that we may require moving forward. I get it. That's not for everyone. I mean, I did say that I'm a nurse after all. I love people, and I'm not proposing that the metaverse somehow replaces human contact. No, I get it that this also has a negative side for certain circumstances, but truly in a professional setting, when we have professional tasks that need to be accomplished, and especially in an efficient and time sensitive manner, to me this is a no brainer when most people already have a computer at home, and the ability for computers to compute at a higher level is increasing exponentially on such a fast scale that the capacity for the average home user to connect to such a world, I think, is far closer to their grasp than they could possibly imagine. So, the fifth point, it really does tie in directly to the previous two, and that was, creating your own avatar, being whoever you want to be, so to speak, and meeting and collaborating with your professional colleagues. And the point would be that you can socialize and make new friends. You can forge new human connections with individuals who could be thousands of miles away, for example, or at least on the other side of town, or maybe in a completely different country. And I think in this day and age where these isolating events could potentially be more common, or they could at least be the type of thing that societies are more willing, or governments at least are more willing to push the population towards, when you have an outlet and you have a means to communicate with other people outside of just your home, or maybe the grocery store, or whatever social events, the bar, the restaurant, these are the type of things that many people do to socialize, different clubs and gatherings, meeting groups, and having an online 24/7 around the world ability for people to meet and to connect and to talk. I think what that does is it helps folks not feel that they're alone. It helps people deal with those isolating events of lockdowns and such, where then, yes, okay, you might not be able to go out and to go to visit some close person. At least when we can sit down in a virtual sense and we can communicate in that way, it helps to bridge that gap between being completely alone and still feeling a human connection on the other side. Nothing in my mind, will really truly ever replace a hug, a kiss, a handshake. I think those things are uniquely human, and I don't ever profess that we would have to leave those behind. But I really see a world where those physical connections between humans have additions to them so that we have more and more options to connect where practical face-to-face meetups are not always possible. And I think it's good that we have other options and alternate ways that we can bridge those gaps and we can keep people feeling connected. So to me, it's like a no-brainer that you're going to be able to shop and buy things in the metaverse. I think, when you look at the number one retailer in the world, to my knowledge, Amazon, and the vast catalog of items that they have in their warehouses. And if you have ever scrolled through their web page, it is a rabbit hole, a veritable rabbit hole. And you can scroll for hours and hours and hours and never see the same thing twice because their inventory is so vast. And I think as much as they are ubiquitous with shopping and consumerism in general, what the metaverse could offer to especially an online retailer is the experience for the customer to walk into a quote unquote brick and mortar experience and to pick up and to interact with and to see and feel in a virtual way the item that they might potentially wish to buy. It might be a little bit of a stretch at this point to think that you would sit on a virtual bicycle, but I mean, I could absolutely imagine picking up a household item. What if you wanted to look at the new water kettle that you wanted to buy, or what if you were interested in getting some new rims for your vehicle or some other object, some consumerist item that you wanted to buy. And to me, having a virtual showroom allows retailers a way to market their goods in a fashion that is, I'm gonna say, with a lower overhead operating expense, especially up front. Well, I think up front, the programming needs and the setup and the design of these virtual stores, I would say, are gonna have a learning curve. There's gonna be a ramp up phase, I would say, where the initial aspects are rough. They're getting to be, polished, and in today's society, people are picky, and I think they have high standards, but I really don't think it's going to take very long for these massive retailers to see this, and I know many of them already do, as an incredible opportunity to bring their product to the masses. And the more people that adopt the metaverse and similar technology, the more these retailers are going to continue to push their products and provide unique shopping experiences that truly can bring value to regular individuals without having to leave their home and potentially feel that they are still getting an awesome shopping experience. So check that kind of thing out because I know for sure you're going to find so much of it. Now, to me, the idea of virtual entertainment is really synonymous with the experience for most users. I look at the metaverse and virtual reality as a whole as sort of stemming in many ways from the gaming world. I think that individuals who are already purchasing and building high-end computers with graphics cards that are designed for gaming and for three-dimensional graphical processing, I think that that type of individual would look to that type of technology to provide entertainment. And I know for one, I experienced with my sons. I have some younger kids, and we went into the game Fortnite, and there was this Travis Scott concert. Now I'm 40 years old. I'll admit it. I don't know. I didn't know who that was, but my boys were so excited. They thought this was going to be so cool, and I went into this game with them, and I created an account just for this concert, and I had an incredible time. I could walk around the performer as he was moving throughout the game, and even in my non-virtual reality experience, I felt so close. It was like I had a front row ticket to the event without having to leave the comfort of my home. And this type of thing, I mean, it was incredible to see it on a two-dimensional screen, and just the thought of feeling that in a three-dimensional world and having the ability to be so close, to me, I think that is a very easy sell for so many people. And not just the concert, but as indicated here in this article, the trade shows, the learning events, to have a school event, a big, huge gathering where we don't have the logistical challenge of the hundreds of people, but yet we can create the virtual space that allows those people to interact in a seamless manner. I just think it's a matter of time that this is the kind of thing that kids are going to expect the world to be, and families will embrace to some degree because of the ease of access and the ability to stay safe while still having these experiences that bring value to your life. So springboarding from that idea of the concerts and the other events being an experience, playing the games, the virtual reality games really and truly are the first, and I would estimate the most popular vision of the metaverse and of virtual reality in general, because it really is an extension of the technology that's been developed in a two-dimensional way, because we're using a two-dimensional display and we have these three-dimensional worlds that do already exist, and it the desire to move just over the edge of that screen into that virtual world, for someone who has played a game for decades perhaps, it's completely alluring. And as someone who did play, like I said, World of Warcraft for many, many years, the thought of being inside one of these fantastical virtual gaming experiences is almost too much to handle for me. It just, I can't imagine that people who become invested in virtual gaming are going to want to go back to the two-dimensional world unless they're, maybe traveling and, you've got your two-dimensional phone screen with you. But to me, the games are only going to continue to get better. I've played a few of the virtual ones and they're good. They're definitely good and they're getting better. And that's the way that the conventional gaming industry has been, is that they started, okay, kind of poor, 8-bit, but the fun is still there and it translates through that experience. But when you look at the current modern AAA gaming titles and even the indie titles that come out, the quality level just continues to go up. The bar raises and raises and raises, and I know that that same experience is gonna translate into the metaverse, and the sky is really the limit. So to me, no conversation about the metaverse would really be complete without bringing in the cryptocurrency token, because at the end of the day, digital money truly does belong in the digital world. And having this freedom to, well, which is, I think, being eroded by many governments around the world, but that's a conversation for another day. Having the digital currency in the digital world gives that free expression of money, that exchange of the marketplace that we just discussed, and gives it the freedom to exist without the necessary, not necessarily, but without necessarily the oversight of other bodies. And I think what that does is it gives you that Wild West type feeling that we're doing something exciting. We're on the cutting edge of the new way. And I do believe in time that cryptocurrency will be regulated, like it or not. And I know it is in many ways already, but I think there will be tighter and tighter grips on it. But I just know that it will always have a place in VR. It will always have a place in the digital world because that's where it's born, that's where it lives, and that's where it's going to stay. So to those who might be still averse to cryptocurrency or who might not understand it, I truly encourage you to dig a little deeper, to learn a little more, and to work within your means. Don't spend what you can't afford to lose. The risk is real, but the potential rewards are certainly real as well. And I want this to be the experience where the end user has some degree of quote unquote safety, because there's always going to be the possibility for hacking, I would say. But imagine, pulling your wallet out of your virtual avatar's pocket and opening it up, and there literally could be a Bitcoin, a Ethereum token that has an assigned value that you can use in the digital space. And for me, this is just exciting and an inevitable progression from the current state, which is a bit clunky. It's not very user friendly. And unless you're a bit technologically inclined, cryptocurrency can certainly be overwhelming. And at that point, you might miss the plot and really truly miss out on this exciting opportunity for some speculation, but also to be in on the ground floor of an investable space that has this platform, which can quite likely, quite possibly elevate it to levels yet seen or even imagined. Going back to the first point of the real estate, the I think it was MSNBC. Yeah, I have the article here. MSN, or excuse me, CNBC, article dated February 1st, 2022. Just in the title here says the metaverse real estate sales top 500 million. And that was last year. That would be 2021, and are projected to double this year alone. So when we talk about money, when we talk about crypto, when we talk about value in the metaverse, these numbers, to me, the only way they're going to go is up. And to be poised and ready to go with your crypto, ready to shop, ready to invest, and ready to play is, I think, going to give you a great leg up on the competition or just on your fellow virtual reality enthusiasts. NFTs, 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 the non fungible tokens. I know you've heard so much about them lately. And to me, it is a really intriguing and exciting subject. It's this, as she says in the article, an emerging investment asset which assigns digital objects with real world value and ownership. And NFTs can be resold for profit, or the user can simply preserve them as part of a collection. And I look at the NFTs in this instance less as an investment and more so as a digital expression of a unique item. So imagine then for a moment you have your own virtual space, and in that virtual metaverse space, you might have a home or a gallery space or some type of an underground bunker that you can store your valuable NFTs in. And wouldn't that be amazing to be the only one who owns the true NFT of the Charlie Bit My Finger video, for example, and you want to have a private showing in your private theater, and or you could have your NFT arts. You have the art hanging on the walls of your digital space, and these are things that can be unique to you in that world. Sure, I can screenshot them here and now and use them for my own pleasure, but in the metaverse, having them digitally signed with the blockchain involved means that you get to be the only one to experience that unique experience. And you can have, imagine, guests coming to your virtual party. Maybe Snoop Dogg's coming over and you want to show them your coolest NFTs. So I just think it's absolutely an incredible place that, while might seem overwhelming and different today, I really and truly believe that this is the type of thing you're going to hear more and more about moving forward, and you're going to see it in the mainstream news, the mainstream media, and those individual unique art pieces and other fungibly designated tokens can really and truly be a bargaining chip, or at least a point of interest, a topic of conversation that will help to define and differentiate you from your fellow virtual citizens. So clearly, I'm on the side of the metaverse. Clearly, I think this is a great thing moving forward. And I think this is the kind of experience that we're going to become more and more familiar with over time. And myself included, I want to continue to grow and to learn and to experience each of the aspects that there are to be experienced, and to share that with you, to grow with you. And as point 11 says in the article, to get a job in the metaverse. Now, wouldn't that be something you might be disgruntled in your current position? Maybe you're experiencing a high turnover rate in your industry, and people are coming and going, and you just feel like you want to try something different. And I do think that there is going to be a multitude of VR job opportunities, many that haven't been created yet, so to speak. But the author indicates one interesting one would be a tour guide to help new users explore all the rich VR experiences available on the platform. And I think that's really, really cool, because she goes on to talk about examples such as a metaverse wedding, which would create jobs such as VR wedding planners, decorators, and so on. And I think that what that does is it gives people hope. It gives them opportunity. It gives them a creative outlet for doing what they love. Because I know so many people who feel trapped in the rat race. They feel like maybe they had a dream that since slipped away, and they were never able to realize that opportunity. And I think that the metaverse is actually going to give people the opportunity to experience the things that they never had a chance to experience or they never thought they'd ever get a chance to come back to. And it's there for them. It's a possibility for you to still be a wedding planner, albeit perhaps in a virtual sense. You still have this other avenue, this other possibility for growth and for for money to make some cash to pay the bills. You still got to eat no matter how much time you spend with that headset on. And I can think of a time where kids will come out of school and this might be the only type of job that they've ever known or ever had. Their first job was in the metaverse and they just kept moving up in the world and they couldn't possibly fathom the idea of going to a brick and mortar type situation to do physical labor in the real world. I mean, why would I do that? Why would I do that when I could just go to the metaverse from the comfort of my own home? And that might be a far stretch right now for some people, but there's already folks working in the metaverse, making a life of it, and more and more and more, in my estimation, will continue. And this to me is the kind of wave of the future that's creating another avenue of economy for our society and for countries and for places in the world where jobs might be scarce and you might be struggling to find a way to feed your family, to know that you could strap on a headset and you could be anywhere in the world to make a living. To me, that's a really powerful point, and it's a really powerful opportunity that gives us hope and it gives us a chance. Those individuals who need it, it's going to be closer than ever. And to me, that's incredibly powerful. Thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of Exploring the Metaverse and talking about what you can do in the metaverse. Feel free to connect with me, Exploring the Metaverse Together at gmail.com. That's Exploring the Metaverse Together at gmail.com. Let me know what you think, what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to see and hear on this podcast moving forward. Let me know if you would love to be a guest on this show, and I'd be happy to have you here and have a little chat together. Teach me what you know. I'll teach you what I know. We can work together to grow and to promote this incredible, incredible industry opportunity and experience for people of the future. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys.